such, and you do get souls for doing so. So I'm actually going to do that just for the sake of keeping my souls up, keeping my money up. But this gentleman right here, he actually has he has a weapon called a halberd, and it's essentially just a long-range axe. It's got a really wide sweeping attacks that you can see there. So what I want to do is I want to wait for that, roll into him, and then I can proceed to go to town. And then back away. Wait for him to run me, roll into him. Oop, that was a little early. But with the warrior, you start with a weapon that has really, really nice stagger potential. And what that means is if you hit an enemy, it will essentially lock them in place, and they won't be able to hit you. And it's really useful for these early on enemies. So one thing I want to display here in a minute, hopefully with this guy, is I want to try and get what's called a backstab off. It's another one of those critical attacks, but you don't have to parry to do it. You just have to get behind him. Ooh, that was a bad roll. Right there. Get right behind him. Press R1. And that will perform the backstab. And in most cases, it will kill. If you perform a backstab kill, it will restore one Estus Flask. To my knowledge, it only restores one Estus Flask. But it does restore your Estus Flask, so you don't always need to return to the bonfire to restore your flasks. Just try and get some backstabs off, and that's a reliable way to recover your Estus. So I'm going to come right back up here, and I'm going to actually go to this area right up here, because I know there's a nice item up here that I want to get a hold of. So I'm going to come up here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sprint to this enemy right here. Because what he does is, you'll remember the first boss had that kind of moving, glowing stuff coming out of him, and then he transformed it into that big, crazy enemy. And that enemy, the one that I came up and killed first, would have done the same thing. He would have turned into that, and it would have been much more difficult to kill him. There are select enemies throughout the game that will morph like that. If you can kill them before they get the chance to morph, they're easy, super easy to kill. But right here, this is the item I came here for: the longbow and the standard arrow. And I'd like to show off just show those off really quickly. So the longbow, as you can see here, bows and crossbows have dexterity requirements. Hence why I want to invest some skill into dex. But as you can see here, it's 82 physical damage just from the bow. And then if you take a look at the arrows add a bonus 45 physical damage. So combining the bow with whatever arrows you're using, and you can get different arrows like steel arrows, fire arrows, electric arrows. You can get different arrows, and they do increase damage, obviously. But that's what I wanted to pick up here was the longbow, and that'll help us in a little while here. But really quick, I'm gonna perform a backstab kill. He is down. Another backstab kill. He is down. Now, the reason I did that was not because I had to, but because backstab kills are really, really they make you. They have really nice animations. I don't want to say they make you feel good because that's a little weird, but they have really nice animations, and they're kind of fun to look at, regardless of how kind of disgusting it is, the fact that you're cutting somebody in half. But I'm going to rest up at the spawn fire, I'm going to heal up my axe, and then I'm going to move on down here. These enemies down here, as you can see, there are a lot of the praying guys. They're none of the ones that will transform into the big enemy, which is nice, but these guys down here are praying to these dead ones, and then this guy right here is the one I want to focus on. I'm going to take out all the ones that will hurt me first, and then from there I will move on to the enemies that won't. This guy right here, if you don't pay attention, he will come up to you and he will try to hurt you. Oh, no, sorry, it was that guy. My mistake. This guy right here. So those enemies, the ones with the lanterns, they actually call any enemies in the area that will get up and they will try and kill you. The ones with the lanterns will call them, and if they haven't seen you already, at that point they know you're there. I'm just going to perform some backstabs here really quick. This guy is relatively easy to take care of. All these first enemies have really predictable attack patterns, you know, and there's a lot of, they give you a lot of free souls in the form of these guys playing down here, which is nice. They each give 30 souls, which, you know, is not great, but it's better than nothing. There we go. He's out. So if you do hit one of these praying guys with a body, it will make him stand up, and at that point they will start trying to attack you. Now, another thing I'd like to point out that I was unaware of until right now, but these guys regularly watch. I will kill this guy right here. He gave me 30 souls. But this guy right here, I'm going to do a backstab. Normally he would give me the same amount of souls, but he gave me a bonus 6 souls. So if you do backstabs, it looks like you do get a, let's see, a 20% increase in the souls that you gain from that specific enemy. So right here, backstab, I should get another 36 souls from that gentleman. This guy here. Now that guy I should have taken out first, but I wanted to show off that bonus soul effect once again. This guy right here, all he's gonna do is pretty much just attack you with his lantern. That's his basic attack. And then these guys right here, if you back up far enough, they will kind of wander off. And then you can take them out one at a time. Like that guy back there, you can see he stopped. So I'm going to try and get the backstab on this gentleman. There we go. Boom. Solid backstab. He is out. And then if I walk slowly behind this guy, just creeping up, I walk faster than he does. So I'm going to try and get the backstab on this guy as well. Oop, he turned around. There we go, he is out, and he has dropped some deserter trousers. So let's take a look at those really quickly, the deserter trousers. Alright, deserter trousers. So they are not as good as what I'm wearing now. They weigh less, but their defense is not really all that great. It looks like the only thing that they are better at is poison resistance. They have 2 more poison resist than these do. I'm going to look at the lore on this really quick. Common soldier's trousers. They're a musty, rusted hunk of metal that fits one reduced to thievery. So for any armor that I pick up, I am going to read the lore on it. But armor and weapons, I'm going to do that for. But aside from that, I'm not going to do it. So there's a gentleman up there throwing some Molotovs at me, and I'd like to take him out. They're not actually called Molotovs in this game, they're called firebombs, but in, I'm used to Bloodborne, so Molotovs. The trousers, yes, you can sell the trousers. Ooh, gentlemen, back up. So that is a good example of the ambushes that they do in this game. They'll have, what they did there is they had one enemy attacking from a distance. And then what they'll do is they'll have you creep up to him, and as you get close, an enemy, as you saw, will back around the corner here, and he will start messing you up. So you'll want to be careful for those as you play through the game. And yeah, just basically keep an eye out for those. Mr. Slow, welcome to the stream, Mr. Slow. How's it going, dude? Thanks for coming out. We are doing a Dark Souls 3 live Let's Play, so if you'd like to stick around, that'd be awesome. Alright, sorry guys, I had a message I was responding to really quickly. But there's an item right here, binoculars. So, binoculars in previous Dark Souls games, they helped with using bow and arrows and crossbows. To my knowledge, they don't anymore. I'm going to equip the bow right here. I guess I can't Usually you would use the binoculars, and at that point you were essentially aiming down the sights of the bow, making it easier to shoot enemies from longer ranges. But it does not look like it, to my knowledge, because I've used a crossbow in this game already, but it doesn't look like it works that way anymore. So if you fall down that ledge right behind the dragon, right here is actually an item, gold pine resin. So let's take a look at the gold pine resin really quick. Applies lightning to the right hand weapon. So essentially it just adds the lightning buff to your right hand weapon, as it said. You know, it's fairly self-explanatory. And you'll be able to tell if it works with your right hand weapon just by scrolling over it. And if it stays lit up like that, if it stays glowing, it'll work with your right hand weapon. As such, you can see the lightning buff right there. So I'm going to drop down in here, and you can see this enemy right here. So the lightning buff does wear off, so I'm just going to use it up while I have it. Behind those boxes is another ambush, essentially. If you sneak around the room, you can get behind them and get a nice backstab off. And then this item right here, we have a firebomb. So firebombs are this game's equivalent of Molotovs. So you see these gentlemen out here. It's a nice little window to let you look at the enemies out there. And it lets you know what's coming on in the next area. But with that one specifically, it's a little bit deceiving, and you'll see why here in just a moment. Right here we have Soul of a Deserted Corpse. So you'll see me pick up a lot of those throughout the game, souls, and they just give you souls. That's the function of those things there. So I'm going to run across right here really quick and take out this gentleman, because he will actually make fighting this guy a lot harder. So I took him out, and now this guy is going to be much, much easier to fight. So this guy, he's got a shield. So what you want to do is you want to wait for him to attack you. At that point, you can attack him back. You can attack through shields, but they do reduce damage. And I believe once you get to a certain point in the game, they'll stop doing any damage. So if you can cut him off when he's healing like that, you can actually get another hit off. Ooh, that was a little early on the dodge. So you'll see him lift his arm like that. At that point, you can go in and attack if you dodge his hit. So really quick, we're gonna come right up here. If you look right up there, boom, you got a dragon. So at this point in the game, there's nothing you can do about the dragon. He is there to stay. But you can take advantage of him blowing fire. You'll see these gentlemen wandering around down here. If you run down there, he will blow fire right there and take out all those guys, giving you the souls as if you had killed them. So you get free souls just by letting him blow fire like that. So you'll see all the guys up here are dead. So what you want to do with this guy is wait for him to blow fire up at the top area, like that. Wait for him to stop, and then you roll down here. And once you get past these steps, you're good to go. So really quickly, because I know what's coming up, I'm going to use this Ember and fully restore my health as well as increase it. So right here, in this area, we have a new enemy. I believe he is called a Balder Knight. And these guys are pretty difficult to fight, but if you lead him down here, you can do the same thing to him that you did with the skeletons. You can get the dragon to burn him. But it looks like, whoop, he's backing up now, so he's going to back actually right up into that fire. So I went too early on that. Is he going to follow me in here? He is not. Okay, so I'm going to wait for him to back up pretty far. Just to, I'm going to play this really safe, fighting this Balder Knight. So I'm going to wait for him to keep walking.